I don't know. I mean, personally, as a Republican, it absolutely makes a mockery of the title Prince of Wales if, the aforementioned Prince of Wales is supporting England. But of course, I understand him. He is English born. He has obviously supported England for a long time before we ever made it to a major tournament. So I understand that too. Unfortunately, what it is doing is distracting from what we should all be doing, and supporting the boys who have already arrived in Qatar and are hopefully going to have the month of their lives, not just the first 3 games.
I suppose, Tim, it's about being royal and having the national presence that William has, but also the Welsh presence as well. So the UK presence and the Welsh presence. How should he choose, Tim?
It's insensitive at best of him, isn't it? I can understand as president of the FA, the English FA, he needs to be there. And I'll be honest with you, if he were to have met the team before they left from Cardiff to go to Qatar, there'd have been criticism of him as well. So he can't win either way. I understand that. But, this is a distraction from what should be a celebration of Welsh identity, nationhood and culture. And that's what we've been doing in Wales. If you'd been at Cardiff at the launch, school children singing our new unofficial anthem, which is called Ymar Hyd. It means we're still here. And that's what we should be celebrating. This, in a sense, is a bit of a distraction for us.
Well, it's interesting. Loyalty is interesting. James, you want to come in?
Yeah, I just guess, on one hand, we're discussing the role, if you like, of the Prince of Wales, but it looks as if you're preparing to go to Qatar, which, frankly, don't you feel worse about going there on the basis there are human, rights abuses? We're talking about, you say you're a Republican and, you think that it's insensitive. We're talking about people who lose their lives for being who they are. We're talking about people who've lost their lives building the blooming stadium.
Let Rhys
you're going to go
in.
and sit in.
Yes, I think that's a completely fair criticism. And we have been compromised as football fans, and we've been forced to be compromised by the footballing authorities. Of course, I don't feel comfortable going to Qatar. I didn't feel comfortable going to watch Wales in China, in Israel, in the US, and many other countries, Azerbaijan last year, many other countries that have horrendous human rights records. But unfortunately, that real pressure should not be down to us fans. It should be on the footballing authorities who make those decisions. And why have we only been talking about this in the last month? This decision was made 12 years ago. And now, all of a sudden, we're talking about fans and wearing rainbow armbands and all sorts of things like that, instead of having addressed the issue earlier on.
You've talked about a whole range of countries. Why on earth wouldn't you be happy going to Israel?
Well, because of its illegal occupation of certain lands of the Palestinian authorities. And if you listen to the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, they agree that those lands are being illegally trespassed. And if you look at the United Nations motions, they too say that those lands have been illegally taken and are being trespassed upon. Let's park that for a moment. The decision to go to Qatar was made 12 years ago. Don't ask us as mere fans why we should not be going to Qatar. Ask the footballing associations and the federations which voted for this 12 years ago on whatever basis. And some people say it was a very dodgy basis. Indeed, it was a corrupt basis.
Yes, OK. But, if you're going for the football, that's fine. What do you think, Mylene, about...
I think that sums everything up, that entire conversation. The fact that, as I said, we're looking at the scraps here of a conversation as to how political was the Prince of Wales' move there. But actually, the bigger picture here is actually... all of us have to look at why we're going to Qatar, and actually maybe he should have been handing out rainbow bands for everybody, if allowing anyone to go at all.
I feel,
Michael Sheen,
Tim, I'm not judging you, because although I'm not going to Qatar, I guarantee when the games start, I will be watching them as if I'm there. So I think anyone who turns on the World Cup and watches effectively has gone to Qatar themselves. I don't know if I can fancy...
We are compromised. We're definitely compromised. I mean, my friend Kevin, a lifelong trades unionist from Caerphilly, says, looking at the rights there of workers, the lack of rights there, he can't go. And he's been following Wales as long as I have. My gay friends say, hand on heart, I cannot go to that country. So we are compromised, and it's a decision we don't take lightly and wish to goodness we didn't have to take.
These are the conversations we should be having then, not which shirt he was given. It's the fact that we're all going there, and all the shirts that are present there, we should be questioning what's going on. I'm a Filipino girl. The way that those countries treat Filipino workers, actually shocking. And I know this firsthand from my auntie working there. So I think there's a way bigger conversation that should be being had here. Michael Sheen, please jump in. And the Prince of Wales, who lives in England and is English born, have those conversations too.
We have, in fairness to this brilliant show, we have talked about the Qatar politics and all the horrible side of that regime on a number of occasions. The reason we're talking about William today is because actually there is some football going on. And this guy is the Prince of Wales. And I can see, Rhys, that you've got a problem with him as the Prince of Wales handing out the England shirts. Let's get back to where we started.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my dad summed it up quite nicely when he said it's insensitive at best, but I think it does make a mockery of the entire title. Again, I don't care one way or another whether anyone supports Wales or doesn't when it comes to the World Cup. But the fact that he has the title Prince of Wales and is then supporting England or handing out shirts or whatever he's done in the last few days absolutely leads us all, surely, to question what on earth is the point of that title, and is it completely outdated? And should we be really, should we have that in the 21st century?
What we've got here is the generational divide. You see, Rhys is far more strident in his republicanism than someone like me who thinks, I just don't really give a damn. But what you also see here is the changing mood in Wales with younger people. Opinion polls do show around 25 to 30% of young people particularly favouring some form of independence or federation. And my generation are slightly a bit behind the curve on this. So it is just interesting to see how what the Prince has done here has actually, gone back and had a negative impact on perhaps as you see the royal families are unifying.
Hang on, Tim. Let Mylene come in.
Sport is a unifier, and the fact that he has come out and has been put in this position. My granny lived in Wales. I love Wales. I used to grow up in Ross and Wye. I learnt to drive in the Pennines. I failed my driving test 3 times as a result. But, I live in England. It's meant to be a unifier, and the way that he's been put in this position seems extremely unfair. And now we're doing polls on it. Sport is the unifier, and I think he's a fantastic royal, and there has to be some positivity shown.
All right, listen, let me just thank Tim and Rhys very much for joining us. Enjoy your trip, enjoy the football, and we'll maybe have a chat when you get back. It'll be really interesting. Thank you both. Take care.